Hello and welcome to the Hatewatch podcast. The World Cup is finally over and there was certainly plenty to hate about it. We'll be going over the very worst the tournament had to offer, as well as reviewing the glorious third place playoff and the other match that happened yesterday. We'll get right into it. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been an interesting weekend, eventful. Eventful on the pitch in one game, very much not on the pitch in the other. But yeah, it's not quite hit that the 5.5 weeks of football is finally over yet. But I'm sure as this week goes on, and I'm desperate for more sporting action and struggling to find it, it will finally hit me. But it's been exhausting either way. So I think I'm going to be quite relieved for a bit of a break from football for the moment. How are you going?
Well, a bit like you. I said it a while ago. I'm suffering from football fatigue. Even when England was still in it, I was like, "This is just relentless game after game." And now it's finally over. I'm locked into the Champions League qualifiers.
Oh yeah,
So
of course, of course.
what are you gonna
French
do?
league and the Swedish league, I'm all over it. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. um, but yeah, I was dreading extra time last night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was dreading penalties even more, but thankfully we were spared that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's finally over. It could not have been much longer, that tournament.
No.
Makes it sound like I hated the whole thing. Um, but yeah, I'm being very bitter because yeah, if England were involved, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
let's go in like chronological order from where we left off because lots of stuff has happened over the weekend. Um, describe to me your feelings going into the third place playoff.
yeah. It was. I wasn't quite conflicted about it. I think I was always going to view it as I didn't have any other plans on Saturday night, so it'd be on, but I probably wouldn't have paid much attention to it as it went on. And then as soon as sort of the lineups came out and kickoff was coming around, I was getting a little bit more intrigued by it and was going to pay a bit of attention. And of course, as soon as the game started, we had action that I couldn't really turn away from. I mean, it was so strange when we were going 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 up that I was becoming not less and less interested, but more I could do other things because England were comfortably winning at that point. So there was no sort of feeling of nerves or anything. And going into that second half with them slowly coming back into the game, I went from being really sort of blasé about how the result went to desperately not wanting to throw it away because I couldn't really handle more humiliation as an England fan than what we'd already had, which you would think going into the third place playoff would be kind of impossible, but it's so rare you're 4-0 in a World Cup game at half time and then having them pin us back to 4-3 that if they had turned it round, it would have been humiliation. So reliefful celebrations came in when we got the penalty and when Bellingham finally wrapped it up at the end. It was an exhausting game that shouldn't have meant anything, but a sort of nice way to end what had been a very sad couple of days after being beaten by Argentina. How did you consume it? Were you quite similar or not to that extent?
I was completely unfussed even as the goals were going in.
Mm.
Um, like if Arsenal were playing a meaningless friendly, I was still going like yeah, three, and but like we go 3-0, 4-0 up, I'm like, scored again.
Yeah,
Um,
the later goals were getting laughed. The third and fourth got a laugh from me, just from disbelief. And to be fair, I did react to Rice's because we hadn't really seen a goal like that for England from this tournament, so that was quite nice.
I think this is going to sound like I'm just saying it, but as soon as that goal went in, the Rice one after 3 minutes, I was like, this has got a 9 goal thriller written all over it. Like the players do not care. Like
Oh
they just
yeah.
let him score that.
Mm.
Like this is how it's going to be.
It was insane how little pressing the French midfield did. I don't think I even noticed Turkey on the pitch during that first half until he got taken.
Yeah, no. This is I don't know if this is bad on me or whatever, but I didn't realize he started until I saw him in the L'Equipe rating
Mm.
thing the day after.
Yeah.
I thought, Oh, I just assumed he'd come on.
Yeah,
Not that I
even their
noticed him
sort of
late on either.
yeah, their half chances they had in the first half where Mbappe was shooting straight at not Pick, Dean Henderson in the goal. Yeah, Cherky just wasn't involved in any of them. So yeah, he was so forgettable in that first half, and so were many of their other French players. They just seemed to be sleepwalking through that first half and sort of were woken up a little bit by whatever Deschamps said at half time to them. But yeah, such a strange game, such a strange game.
Um, I, 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 I don't want to, you know, sort of too negative about the third place playoff. I don't know if it should still be a thing.
Mm.
There's been a lot of uh, anger about whether the goals should count towards the golden boot.
Yeah.
I don't know what your take on it is, but I'm just like, well, it's a thing, so why
Yeah,
not?
it's an interesting debate, isn't it? Because it's a very 50-50 thing. Like the goals being scored are by teams who have technically been eliminated from a knockout competition, but it's still recognised as a World Cup game, so you can't really win or lose in that debate. I think the fact that they've always counted towards the tally should probably mean as long as this fixture's a thing, you probably shouldn't take that away. I know Mbappe said himself that he didn't really want his goals to count. He said he'd much rather be playing in the final and not scoring if it meant his
Funny
nation in
that
the
I
World
saw
Cup.
that. I was like, oh wow, oof, Jesus, that's a big sacrifice for you there. I mean,
It was quite refreshing to see a player want his team's achievements to go above his own statistics, whereas some other players in this World Cup probably wouldn't share that viewpoint. But yeah, it's a tough debate, but I can see both sides of the coin, and I think it's not really a massive issue. I know Messi obviously didn't score yesterday in the final to make it much more of a talking point than it is, but yeah, it's by the by in the same way that it doesn't really matter.
um, yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. Although Wayne Rooney probably put it better because he was on some sort of hate watching rampage yesterday.
Oh yeah, the whole weekend, yeah, he was very much
Um,
against everything, which is
he seemed to just hate on everything from the halftime show to the Golden Boot. Um, I imagine he probably hated Trump's part in the
oh, I mean, he didn't fancy no
celebrations.
shoes, didn't get escape a bit of criticism. So yeah, no, it was fair points all round from Wayne. But yeah, I mean, the other thing about the game on Saturday as well was the sort of reaction from England fans who still haven't calmed down about Tuchel's substitutions against Argentina. There was a lot of why didn't we play like this against Argentina? Why didn't Tuchel play Saka here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I did
But
say when the lineups were announced, and we briefly mentioned it on Friday when we recorded that we'll be amazed if we see Saka or Rice play a minute, and Saka plays almost 105 minutes of football, having not played a single minute in the semi-final, which raises a question. Which I also agree that that was a question that needed to be asked of Tuchel, but everything else was you can't really analyse this game without any sort of realistic thinking in comparison to why we didn't play like this against Argentina because it's a completely different thinking and the pressure's completely off and one team didn't really seem to care. I mean, our defence in the second half seemed to switch off too, so there's no real nuanced analysis you can give on that to try and compare it to the game against Argentina. But I think when the feelings were still raw, those questions were still going to be asked by certain people, and yeah, I saw a lot of tweets from Jamie O'Hara over that during the course of the weekend, which really wound me up as well. Like he referred to Anthony Barry as the guy who gave the halftime interview. It's like this is the man who gets sort of airtime on Sky Sports, and he doesn't know who one of the assistant manager for England is, and we're relying on the nation are relying on him to give his opinions on football. It's just little things like that that wind me up completely. It's like you should know who Anthony Barry is. You're a professional pundit. Like stop leaning into your talk sport stupid personality and just have a bit of nuance in your analysis, please. I beg you.
um, well, I mean, I would never indulge in Jamie O'Hara um doing anything really.
Mm.
I mean, I've managed to block him out for the whole tournament, which is a great thing about free to air TV. He's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm with you on the stuff about England fans reacting to Wednesday. You know, why didn't we play like this? Is just a non-starter as an argument because of the stakes that were at play, and like the other team were in the same position as us, where they couldn't give a toss about the end result,
Hmm.
really. Um, but what I can absolutely take issue with is, and I promise I'm not saying this as an Arsenal fan, but I absolutely can take issue with Thomas Tuchel. No, it's not the fact that he played Bukayo Saka in this third place playoff, but it's the fact that it seems as though he was absolutely fully fit to start on Wednesday, and he just thought Rodgers would be better. Now that to me, that that's madness. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know how else to describe it. That is ridiculous. Like,
I mean, for him to start the game, I wouldn't go as far as to call it mad because obviously he does get the assist for the goal that we score and everything else. And Saka has only started 2 games in this entire tournament before Wednesday. But the fact he didn't come off the bench at any point, especially when we were sitting back, him and Rashford were
yeah,
at least one
if
of
that
them.
was the game plan, I could deal with that, but that
Hmm.
clearly wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
Um, and for him to only be worth anything if we needed a goal or something, I'm not buying that either. Like it's just better to have better players on the pitch, is it not?
Ah,
I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, it's a bit more nuanced to any sort of debate than that. Obviously, the opponents always matter and tactical setups and shape and everything else. But yeah, Bukayo Saka has shown numerous times during this tournament when he has come on, even if he has been half fit for some of the games, that he can still produce really important moments for England out of nothing. So yeah, I can be with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's not a reaction to him scoring a hat trick,
No.
but just like we know in terms of goal threat, like that is just you know what we need. I mean, there's a reason that he came on for Madueke when we needed goals against Norway. Um, it's why he started against Mexico because he's the obvious option. And then Thomas Tuchel basically galaxy brained the semi final and thought, no, no, I won't do the obvious thing here. I'll just do something different because I've got a feeling. It could have worked, but that doesn't mean the obvious thing wouldn't have worked either.
No, of course not.
And
I mean,
I can't get over the thought process where shall I leave Bukayo Saka on the bench even though we've been managing his minutes so he can start really important games.
mm,
Ah,
yeah, no,
I can't. You can't justify that to me.
no. I mean, it's a fair point. Again, it worked for 60 minutes against Argentina on Wednesday, so I can't knock it too much. But again, Rogers didn't do anything after we scored the goal, so he should have been
Yeah.
brought off.
As much as it worked to an extent, we'll never know if it could have worked even better
No,
had
of
we
course.
had our best right winger on the pitch who just wasn't on the pitch for no reason.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
Um, so that more than him getting minutes in a pointless game, that's what annoyed me more in the
Hmm.
end. Um, I think for all the concerns, I think I mean on in Arsenal circles there were concerns like, oh, why is Rice playing? He needs to be resting clearly. But obviously someone had to play the game. But it seemed to me that the players wanted to play as
Yeah,
well, and
yeah,
you see that they were taking it seriously. It wasn't
yeah.
like a full-blooded match, you could tell,
Yeah.
but there was loads of pride on show,
Hmm.
and I guess that's good that the players have that capacity to do that because I mean we felt that at 4-0 like France were just checked out, like they just did not care and only
Yeah.
turned up probably because they had a you know hairdryer treatment at half time.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
just
at least we went for it from the start, and we were crap when the other team started playing properly.
yeah,
Better
yeah.
to be that way around.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we had worked ourselves into the ground a little bit too much, and I think Tuchel was a little too slow with getting those who were clearly knackered out of there. But yeah, it was yeah a little bit like that where it flipped on its head in the second half. But yeah, it was nice in the end. I was happy that we did get this. We actually won the third place playoff once, having lost our previous attempts at this. But having a medal ceremony at the end of it is always a little bit strange. It's like, I know there is a medal to be won, but it doesn't even need the fanfare to
Well,
stand out. And just have the players.
there isn't a medal to be won. It's just the. I mean, we've got a medal,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
that's what I
it's
meant by that.
not.
Yeah.
It, just because you're third doesn't mean you need a medal.
No.
Like, it's a knockout sport. Like,
I did find it quite interesting as well that normally when a lot of the players are handed silver medals, they'll take them straight off, but every single England player kept their third place players.
that's what I was
medal
looking for yesterday, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I thought, I'll watch them be ungrateful bastards and throw away their runners-up medals. But yeah, no, we seemed really proud to get third, and obviously, we third by merit.
yeah.
Not an accident. And makes you proud to be English,
Yeah.
I guess. All in all, good tournament, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I know there's far too many people who can't look past that. Oh, Tuchel was brought in to win, so he didn't win, so it's a failure. It's like, yeah, it's not. We've said it multiple times during the weeks when we've recorded this. It's not how knockout football works. You can't just guarantee you're going to win because that's what you brought in to do. And people who to get things wrong, everything else. It's going to be an interesting few months going into what will be the long break in the next international break once the Premier League gets underway and Nations League football, and over the next couple of years, how that sort of landscape sort of changes, whether the sort of mood towards Tuchel will ease or anything else like that. And obviously there was a slight. I don't think it was as loud as some journalists tried to make out. There were boos to Tuchel in the ground. Obviously, a lot of the English sort of die-hard fans have gone home already, so there wasn't much of a sort of feeling to gauge from that on who was in attendance and who wasn't, in the actual sort of feeling towards him. But yeah, I think it's extremely obvious he's going to stay in the job and will be there for the Euros in 2 years' time. So it's going to be interesting the next.
Yeah, I mean, it would be daft to do anything drastic like that, based on what was 7 minutes of madness in the semi-final. If this was if that's what we did and went out in the groups, you can go like fair enough.
Or he got it completely wrong against Congo in the round of 32. Yeah, that's
Yeah. I think
more.
that might have been fair enough as well. But that's football, isn't it?
Exactly.
And just shows the fickle nature of people. As soon as things go wrong, you want drastic change. I guess that's kind of like club football in a way.
Yeah.
But when the tournament's only every 2 years, you're like, well, someone does have to lose here. Doesn't mean that it's a managerial disaster, albeit the tactical element of the way we went out is a talking point for sure. But I still stand by what I said last week. The players are just as at fault, if not more.
Yeah, no, I agree on just as at full. I wouldn't quite go more because it was the manager's job to change it, obviously, as we said last week anyway. But yeah, it was very obvious that the players were a bit scared against Argentina, and I think as we move on to trying to analyse what we sort of saw in the game on Sunday was it made it a bit more frustrating. Whereas obviously Spain have a lot more cohesion, ability, and a tactical setup and everything else in the sort of way they play to completely nullify Argentina, but seeing those stats and how they played yesterday against Spain makes it a bit more annoying that the players were as sort of scared as they were on Wednesday.
Incredibly jarring. I mean, my hunch was that they're just playing for a penalty shootout.
Yeah. I think it was from sort of like the 20th minute onwards. I mean, the only time they got in behind was when Unai Simon was already 40 yards out of his goal in the first sort of opening minutes, and everything else from there on out.
They didn't get a touch in the penalty area until the second half.
No, which is it's completely insane. And even with the changes that I know they lost some key-ish players, but there were defensive players they lost early doors and whatever else. So there was a little bit of that in there, but you still had their best attacking players. They made 3 changes from the team that played against us from the start on Wednesday night, and the 3 players that came in were those who came off the bench on Wednesday and had a big impact, in Nico Gonzalez and whoever else. And they seemed to just not make any difference, and they were very much outfought, outplayed, outmaneuvered a lot of the time by the Spanish players, and players like Cucurella were shutting down any sort of attacking threat that was coming down either side. And yeah, it was a weird game to watch yesterday. I think it was very easy to say after Saturday, it's like, oh, now we've seen that sort of 10 goals in a game. We're going to have a very dull World Cup final. Obviously, that doesn't always work like that, but it is exactly what we were served
Yeah,
up.
but again, like so much more on the line. It's totally understandable.
Oh yeah,
And typically World Cup finals aren't goal fests.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, the
I mean,
last two before yesterday were quite entertaining.
mhm.
But you know, it's 1-0 is a very World Cup final scoreline.
Oh yeah, we were spoilt in 22 and 18. I mean, they were both of those were so against the grain of what you normally get in the World Cup final, where players are really nervous and the mindset is 99 times out of 100. We just don't want to lose this. Like you can look back at the 2010 and the 2014 final, both of them 0-0 at full time with a 1-0 winner in extra time. Like, it was very standard and sort of unsurprising, especially with a Spanish team who've conceded one goal in the entire tournament. And I think by full time yesterday, Unai Simon had only had 10 saves to make all tournament,
Yeah,
which
I
is
saw that.
an insane statistic for a World Cup tournament that had an extra game added into it as well.
Yeah.
I think Spain faced the least shots out of any World Cup in winning team in history was the other stat as well. And again, when you've played 8 games across the tournament, that is insane. And if it's a old football cliche, but the best way to win football games is to have the best defense, and that's exactly what they had, and they were able to make that work, and were worthy winners from yesterday. Besides all the antics of the Argentinian players that we're definitely going to get into.
Yeah, I mean they saved football
Yeah,
in a way. It
yeah,
was because I mean it turned into because of Argentina's behaviour, more than the fact that they beat us on Wednesday. Their behaviour basically turned this, at least for me, into a massive hate watch.
oh yeah, yeah. There was so many tweets. It's like Argentina. It's amazing how quickly they turned the rest of the world against them. After I think more people wanted them to win in 22 than didn't. Whereas now it was. Can't think of many people outside of Argentinian fans who would have preferred them, or who were desperate for them to win over Spain rather than not really caring. Whereas most people were like, "Please, Spain, don't let these really really unsportsmanlike."
And also they were at it in this game as well with their antics, which
Oh
they
yeah.
did during the game against England as well.
Hmm.
Um, with the fouling and refs being quite kind to them. I thought the ref was all right yesterday, bar the disallowed goal in extra time. I thought he was pretty solid. But you could see that Argentina tried to test the water as much as they could.
Oh yeah, you got the
Um,
McAllister tackle with the studs up, which on most occasions probably should have been a yellow
I
card. You've got Tagliafico catching quite high up with the studs. Like, for that one, to be fair, I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, that's a yellow or red card." It's like, no, I think that was just how he fell, completely accidentally. He is fouling him, but the studs in the leg was a complete accident. They didn't need any further punishment than that. And I know the halftime analysis on BBC of Joe Hart and Michael Richards were on your side of the coin a bit more than Rooney was, in that they didn't mind the referee not bringing his cards out, which I do always understand that sort of argument. You do want to let the game flow, but you do need to be a bit more
Yeah,
clamping down if the fouls
I
are
really
horrible.
hate that phrase. Like, oh, this referee lets the game flow, which sometimes is true, but a lot of the time I feel like it's just a ref that doesn't give actual fouls,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is not what you
can
want. That's
certainly go
even
that far.
worse.
Yeah. Mm. No, definitely.
Um, and so I always take, whenever I hear that compliment to a ref, I always take it with a pinch of salt because I'm like, well, that either means he's got the spirit of the game bang on, or he's just anything goes and you can do whatever you
Yeah,
want, which is
yeah. Blatant
chaos.
tackles are being let go. Yeah, no, definitely.
Um, and I thought the ref got the balance about right. I thought the McAllister challenge was sort of just let us know where that bar was going to be, and you
Mm.
felt like the next serious foul is going to be a card. Um, and I can't remember who got the first card. I think it was Martinez.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember who it was, but it was quite light in terms of how much
Yeah.
bad
Well,
play.
I think he stopped. I think he stopped a promising move,
Yeah, it was
which is a
still in his own
blatant
half.
yellow. But in terms
Yeah,
of the severity of the challenge, yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Um, and then in second half, Leandro Paredes got booked. I'm not sure Leandro Paredes is a footballer. I think he's
yeah.
a thug.
It's just there as a wind up merchant who takes things far too far and can't and has the sort of what's the word I'm trying the emotional intelligence of a 5-year-old from what we've seen over this tournament. I can't remember back in 22 if he had a similar sort of way of acting. I'm sure he did, but I haven't had a chance to look back on this. And he's
Well,
obviously
they mentioned his role in the bust up in the quarterfinal last time against the Netherlands, where the
uh
benches were at it.
yeah, that doesn't
Um,
surprise me, but yeah, there was so many of that, and then the fact that the red card that Argentina did receive, the first yellow of Enzo Fernandez's 2 yellows was for dissent rather than anything else, which just sort of sums up the whole Argentina the whole way Argentina approached the game yesterday. It was just
just daft. Like it
mm,
wasn't even. It was nowhere, not even close to being a foul on him.
yeah,
And then he gets so annoyed about not getting the call.
hmm
Um, I mean, sometimes when players get booked for dissent, I was like, oh, geez, that's a bit harsh. He's just annoyed. But
yeah.
then he had no right to be annoyed about that.
No, and
So I
when you
think that
shout
was the thing.
directly at the referee, like I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure. Well, we don't know what he said to him, but yeah, the referee was going to let it go until he's. If you direct anything with any sort of anger towards the referee, he has every right to yellow card you. So that's just how that sort of thing was going to go. And then the second yellow was just ridiculous thing to do in the middle of the pitch. You don't need to be desperately trying to win the ball, even if you weren't on the yellow card. It was a bit daft for him to go in as he did, and for him to then catch the player and wag his finger towards the referee as he did. It's like, mate, you got nowhere near the ball, and you've very much caught the player. I know he's gone
I
maybe
couldn't
flying a bit
believe how
more.
long he took to go off. Like, you've clearly just clattered into it. It looked a lot worse than what it was because he proper spun him
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
where
yeah.
he caught him and
Hmm
because he was in the air and stuff. And it
Yeah.
looked when I first saw it, I stood up. I was like, "Whoa,
Mm.
he's
Yeah.
gonna. That's
Yeah.
at least a yellow."
Flung him so far down the pitch, and then yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what he's waiting for during that. There's no chance it's going to be overturned or anything like that, and I think it just sort of added to all the sort of Argentinian mindset that we've seen over the sort of from the quarterfinals onwards, that they don't seem to accept referees' decisions or things that don't go their way. They're going to fight them as far as they can, even though there is no chance that they're going to get
which
anything.
is ironic because a lot has gone their way.
Hmm
I would argue in this tournament. You know, if you look at the disallowed goal against Egypt, the the red card that Brelan Bolo got,
Yeah, disallowed goal yesterday as well. Yeah.
rightly, yeah, that,
Mm.
um, and you know, it's just they've got all this going for them, and they're still a bunch of shithouses.
Yeah. Like it gets to a point. It got to a point where like really respectable writers online were like not quite agreeing with the conspiracy theorists that it's rigged for Argentina, but it's like I can see why people think it's rigged for Argentina.
That disallowed goal yesterday was the first time I was like, oh, maybe,
Maybe they got a
maybe.
point. I know there was
Maybe
the type of
because the other times they got away with it, you can see why they did. It
hmm
wasn't like it wasn't dodgy. It was jammy for sure.
Yeah.
And on another day that wouldn't have gone for them.
Mm.
But like that, I mean, what disallowing a goal for that is ridiculous. But also the way that they act plays into how that goal got disallowed because Otamendi knows as soon as he feels contact to make a meal of it, and
Yeah.
he knows that however bad that looks to the referee, it's going to look worse if it goes to VAR, and then the ref gave it anyway.
Yeah, that
Right?
was probably the most surprising thing about that. Was the fact the ref gave it on the pitch. But no, you're right. The way they sort of act on the pitch in terms of winning fouls, they play into it so much and make a meal of everything, which annoyingly a lot of referees fall into that trap of giving them free kicks for those sort of things. There were a couple of times yesterday where the referee didn't give anything, but the player stayed down a bit longer, and the play sort of stopped. So it's fine, you can have a free kick for that, which annoys me a little bit because it should just be based on what you see in the moment rather than the reaction afterwards.
It's like those players who grab the ball after they've been fouled, but before the foul's been given.
Yeah,
and they always get it.
Yeah, very, very rarely will you see the referee's like, no, you've just handballed it. Yellow card, which I think I've only seen once.
That's my favourite type of foul, when the referee does give the handball.
Yeah,
like,
definitely. It's like,
yeah, get up, you're in foul, mate.
Bullshit. Yeah, no, I like that too. But yeah, it's an annoying juxtaposition from between that and I can't remember if it was Argentina's equaliser or winner on Wednesday, where Jed Spence's beaten to the ball by Messi, but Messi then does catch him afterwards. If Spence goes down there afterwards, it'll be very interesting to see how that will play out, like whether the referee gives anything on the pitch or if VAR overturns, because there is just as much contact, probably a lot more than what.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's an Argentinian player would have gone down there and stayed down.
Yeah,
but I'm sure probably what I would have done is probably what Jed Spence has done. It was like, well, if I stay down, he's just going to like whip it in and they're going to score. I've got to get up and try and stop this.
Yeah. Your honesty is being punished because you want to win the game fairly. You don't want to try and con the referee.
And in theory, whether he stayed down or not, that doesn't make it a foul or not a foul.
No, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't guarantee it's going to be overruled, and you'll get pelters from your own fans if they do score a goal and you stay down from something that isn't a foul. It's like Harry Kane's one against Norway, where he very much wasn't fouled and he stayed down, and the referee rightly didn't give him anything because the player won the ball. So yeah, it's a lose-lose situation, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's something that Argentina I was very happy to see when Spain finally did get their goal, where they weren't rewarded with a World Cup trophy for their antics this time around. Because obviously we've said already how little they attacked the Spain goal and didn't turn up until they were down to 10 men and 1-0 down, which is a pretty insane way to approach a football match, especially with the players you have and everything else. But I think it's been quite a common theme this tournament with Argentina, that until they go a goal down, they don't seem to know how to attack their opponents, and because their opponents are going to keep that press going the whole time. They don't know how to counteract it, which is quite a strange way to approach things, but it had worked for them all the way up into this game.
It's weird how they can just switch it on, and you think, well, why don't they do that from the start? But then they did do that from the start against Switzerland, for example, and then after an hour, Switzerland were all over them.
Yeah.
And if they kept 11 players on the pitch, Argentina might have completely shot themselves.
Yeah. Considering that with yesterday too, they were able to get big chances. I mean, they had one right at the end of extra time where on another day Messi gets it on the end of it and he knocks it into the back of the net, but the Spanish player just got there before him. But yeah, the fact they were able to do that with 10 men and just not that they didn't seem to bother. The Spanish team very much quelled any chances they had of trying to build anything up. But the fact they were able to find the spaces once they did go 1-0 down, whereas they couldn't do it at all for 115 minutes before that, is just insane. And I think you've said online already how much you celebrated Ferran Torres' goal. I wasn't quite to that extent, but it was relief. I know you said on the top of the show that you didn't really want it to go to penalties.
They had to win, man. They just had to win that game. It was like... was it like the Tottenham Champions League final? That's probably over-egging it slightly, but it was like that. It just cannot be allowed to happen. Like the trophy presentation would have made me sick.
I wouldn't have.
It would have been sickening.
Yeah, I don't think I could. Well, I probably would have kept it on, but yeah, I don't think I could have put myself through it. It would have been,
and all the stuff before it, like seeing the Argentinian guy with Netanyahu before the game. Did you see that?
I did.
Okay, I know which team I want to support here. Like, I'm just like, why are they supporting teams at all? Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, okay, I'd love to be a neutral here, but I just can't.
Yeah. There's too much going on in Argentina that goes against what we stand for us to support them, which is a shame, because it should just be a football tournament, but it never is going to be, is it, when countries are involved? And...
every World Cup it's like, you gotta keep politics out of football. I'm like, the teams are defined by land borders.
Yeah,
like
written out by politicians or former rulers of those nations. It's
like
it's insane.
for a start, I mean, if you want to keep politics out, that's a bad start.
Yeah.
um, and it's such a like. Why do politicians come on TV and say, "Oh, blah blah blah"? Like, there's a difference between not doing a Falklands sign and keeping politics out of football. You can't keep politics out of football. It's inherently
Yeah,
political.
yeah. Football is a vehicle for politics and always has been and always will be. It's impossible to remove.
But then people come on TV and like, oh, why is it like this? Because it just is, man.
Yeah,
Like,
the teams stand for the nations and everything else. Yeah,
there's national anthems before the game and all sorts. Like,
yeah, it's exactly how the world works and
this
everything
is
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I feel like justice was served, and I hope that the pain they felt yesterday was more than the pain that we felt on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, with the reaction at full time would suggest that it wasn't more than that. I mean, we saw everything after the full time whistle in the France England game. Again, I know we've said many times that the players didn't really care that much about the outcome, but there was the really nice moment with all the sort of
the huddle, that was nice stuff.
Palace players and the English players who I think that 5 of the 6 English players involved had all played for Palace as well, and all of them are very much outspoken how religious they are and everything else. And I'm not a religious man at all, but I thought that was a really nice moment that they could come together
and also
and whatever else.
If you wanted to sort of play politics, like England v France should be a massive rivalry. For some reason, it's not.
Yeah, there's like 5 examples of war in just the last 200 years between the two countries, and yeah, there is nothing sort of.
We probably haven't played each other enough in big tournaments to stoke a fire of some sort.
Been over 40 years, hadn't it, for a World Cup game anyway between the two.
Yeah,
we've had Euros games a couple of times, but even then the war's not really brought into it, even though as you say, it really should. Whereas
but there's not been like a controversial football moment to sort of get us going, something like that.
No, exactly. Yeah, whereas with with us in Argentina, there's been plenty since. Yeah, as I was saying, with everything Paredes did on the full time whistle was so funny to see, considering I meant
funny. Okay.
Well, yeah, just funny in terms of how they reacted during the game against England. It's just, oh right, you can give, but you can't take it. It's like, obviously with the Barco celebration, which I do need to apologise to you for last week that I got wrong.
Yes, you do.
I had not seen that clip in full before we recorded the podcast, and I had no idea why I was so certain it was at full time. I think it's because I couldn't believe the fact that it could happen during normal time.
I hold my hands up. I should have just stood my ground. I should have got, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, you should have said,
I knew what I saw.
It was,
it's definitely the equaliser.
But yeah, and so the fact he did that and escaped any card.
This is way before Jude Bellingham slaps him.
Yeah. It's a good half an hour before if it happens as it happens. But yeah, the fact that they could do that in that game, and then not one of the Spanish players actually celebrates in Paredes' face either. He's just running onto the pitch and he's in his near vicinity, and just because he goes near him, Paredes says, "Yeah, I'm going to punch him in the stomach." It's like, what on earth is going to happen? And annoyingly can't remember which Spanish player it was that he hit to start with, but the Spanish player who it was could have let it go, but he's like, no, actually that's just ridiculous. What on earth are you doing? Why are you hitting me? And Paredes just loses his head immediately at that point and just tries to throw him to the floor, and his teammates get involved and try to throw another Spanish player to the floor, and it takes Scaloni to actually go to the Spanish players like apologetically is like, yeah, no, I'm going to get you out of here because I can't calm my players down and they've completely lost it, so I'm going to get you away. And Borja Iglesias, who is someone I'm going to bring up quite a bit later in this podcast, acted as you would expect him to as peacemaker, got in there, used his height and everything else, like, yeah, no, this isn't going to happen. We're going to move away. We're going to celebrate. You lot can go away and carry on being the children that you are, which they did carry on doing during the rest of the celebrations. Which
I mean, we said the other day that they were bad winners, and they were absolutely bad losers.
Yeah, which is absolutely no surprise. You're not going to be one or the other, are you? So yeah, and obviously going to the trophy lift too, that all of them turning their backs to it is just like, oh, come on, guys. To be fair, there is an angle where Messi does turn and face the actual trophy lift itself, but the fact all 11 of them and the staff have gone to the other end of the pitch after Spain had given them a guard of honour to go collect their runners-up medals, to turn their backs to them is just a bit embarrassing. And again, it's grown men, but you see it. You've seen it from Argentina for so long now. It's no surprise that that's how they're going to approach losing a final and everything else. But yeah, it's. I think the overarching point on all of that is just so happy that that's how it worked out in the end, and they didn't get what they didn't
Yeah.
deserve from not playing football during a final of a World Cup.
I think the only other thing would be that it should have been us.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only other bit that I hated about watching that game. Not because you can kid yourself, like, just because Spain weren't scoring, that Spain weren't going to score against us. Like, that's absolutely not necessarily
yeah.
the case.
There's a world where they would have passed us to death.
But I mean, we definitely would have had more of a goal threat.
Yeah,
I
you'd
think you
like to
can
think.
say that.
Yeah, certainly. There would have been at least. Well, we would have taken it to them how we have done for every knockout game for the
Yeah.
first 60 minutes.
But also, if you think about how attacking we were against France, we just wouldn't have been that expressive in a game that meant so much.
Oh, of course not. No,
Um,
wouldn't have had the space to do so either. Which
and
is
oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were doing at that third goal,
oh
France,
yeah. But
but
what Malo Gusto just seemed to forget he was a right back during that first half. Just every single time Rashford was able to.
you know, I said that we gave Enzo Fernandez the freedom of the state of Georgia, but
Mm.
like, Marcus Rashford just had like the whole country to himself.
Oh yeah. No pressing or defending was done at all to him. So yeah, to say that it's another one of those where we're never going to know how we would have played this final if we were up against Spain.
No,
But
and we absolutely wouldn't have played that team either.
no, of course not. Yeah, it would have been much closer to what we played out on the Wednesday rather than who we started on Saturday. But yeah, it was all the stats as well with Spanish teams in finals too I would have been terrified if we were playing Spain. I don't think I brought it up before we played Argentina, but like I think it's 24 finals Spanish teams, international or club level, that have been in on the men's side of football, and they've won 23 of them, which is just an insane
Yeah.
statistic. Obviously, that's international or tournaments against teams outside of Spain. And the only sort of example you can think of is when England women beat Spanish women in the Euros last year. So that's the only example in a long, long time that a Spanish team have lost a final in any sort of footballing, like senior.
Of course,
footballing.
Real Betis lost the Conference League final.
Yeah,
It's a big one.
they're the only ones in the last 24, which is just insane. But so that all those stats go with Spain, and it is crazy, and just a sort of highlight of the way their footballing setup is that almost all levels of football, men, women, under 21s, everything else, they're so successful.
And but for that penalty shootout win in the Euros, the women's Euros, they'd be world and European champions across men's and
Yeah,
women's football,
all fronts.
which
Yeah.
is, I mean, you can't not applaud that.
Oh, of course not. I mean, they're the only example of men and women holding the World Cup trophy at the same time. So if they had the two Euros as well, that would be just. I don't think that
Yeah.
would ever be
I
replicated
mean,
by another nation.
uh, my only thing about that is just the teams that are, that have been at the top of women's football, men's football haven't really been the same.
No,
Spain,
yeah. I mean,
but to be fair, Spain have come from relatively nowhere in both cases.
of course, yeah. I mean, they
So
were just
yeah,
as
okay.
good as England were before 2000 in major tournaments. So, yeah, it is something that you can create and change. Obviously, with the women's side, Germany were. It was at the time where the German men weren't quite hitting the heights. I mean, they were making finals, but they weren't winning, while the women were
Yeah,
winning.
Germany easily could have done it.
Yeah, that's the only example I can think of. And I think the other stat as well I want to bring up before we analyse everything off the pitch that happened on Sunday was the first semi final statistic, where the team who
Yeah.
wins the first semi final in men's and women's football have for a long time now gone on to win the final. I think it goes back to Euro 2008 on the men's side for any World Cup or Euros, which is insane. And for the women's side, I think it has to go back to when they played on the same day, and the semi-finals are the only time that's happened in the last.
Yeah, I think the
12
whole
years.
thing for men's and women's overall. It goes back to 2012. But there is, I think, the Euro 2017 where they had the semi-finals on the same day.
Yeah,
But I think the point was that the team who get the extra day rest always win.
yeah.
I mean, so we were doomed basically.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's no point getting too wound up about it because we were never going to, run the wrong side of the draw.
No,
So,
exactly.
um,
Mm. But no, it's going on into the all the fanfare that the Americans put into the final with their pre-show and the halftime show. It's the segue I'm going to make here is a great shame that we didn't have the English faithful in there to boo it as much as they definitely would have done because
they absolutely. I mean, considering the treatment that we've given hydration breaks,
yeah.
that halftime show. I mean, we'll get into it.
Oh yeah.
But
my word, what on earth was that? Like, who on earth was that for? Like, you can say it was for sort of a younger generation who they're trying to attract football to. But if you look at 5 of the 6 artists that they brought in, 5 of the 6 of them had their heyday over 20, 30 years ago. It's like, Madonna's not been big since...
Including Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
Yeah. It's a very good point, too. Yeah, like, it's...
That was my favourite moment for me. Because, oh, God, here comes Madonna. That's Ronaldo in the car.
They're putting big footballers to be the sideshow. Brilliant. Yeah, great. It's just, I did enjoy the fear. I've only seen a couple of clips of some of the fans in the stadium, but the fear of when Madonna's performance started is like, oh my God, a lot of this is going to be pre-recorded, isn't it? It's like they've promised this massive thing.
I thought it was. You know, in like Eurovision where it looks like they're not on the stage, but they are. I thought it was going to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair.
And
fair.
then, obviously she came out and they were just presented like weird old mascots of some sort.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. Yeah, it's
and then, are we reviewing it now?
Oh, yeah, we were into it now. Yeah,
yeah, because I just. Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah.
Did he get the memo?
Why on earth was that the song? It was.
What's going on?
Why did he need a pep talk from Ted Lasso? It's like, oh yeah, he's this nobody star. We need to talk him into it. I mean, fair enough. If he's going to perform a really mood-killing song, then yeah, maybe you should have tried to talk him into it.
Maybe that's his way of giving the whole thing a middle finger.
I doubt it.
I'm giving him way too much credit.
Sadly, Justin Bieber is not of that ilk. I know that for certain. So yeah, no, I will not give him that benefit. But yeah, going from after the Muppets were playing the drums and everything else, that was, if I'm going to give it any credit, that was at least a bit fun for the youngsters to enjoy. But again, it's some characters who again were big in the 80s.
Also, just don't need it.
No.
Don't need it. It's what you said before. Who's it for?
Yeah,
who's it for? Exactly. I know, Bailey. I know.
Clearly not for him either. Like, yeah, he did not have any.
Well, it really wasn't. I mean, I missed some of the halftime show, which you might think is a blessing, but it was because my dog bit me quite hard.
Oh,
and I had to go out and recover and clean my wounds.
Yeah.
My hand currently has like 7 or 8 bite marks in it.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's lovely. Because he was about to eat. Basically, there's grass seeds everywhere when it's hot, and he managed to bring one in, and he was about to eat one. I thought, no, you're not going to eat that. And he got so possessive over it. And I currently have 2 fingers on my right hand.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, I would have taken that pain.
It spared me Shakira.
Wow,
which I heard was the highlight of the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it brought out every male sort of instinct that anyone had, including Roy Keane on the ITV coverage, where, in his words, it's always nice to see Shakira. But yeah, no, it was, as I was going to say, I would have probably much rather have had my hand bitten than sit through what we saw. I mean, thank God for Wayne Rooney. Joe Hart.
It was worth it for that moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Joe Hart and Michael Richards, as good as they've been during this tournament, aren't going to stand there and pander FIFA.
Oh, Michael Richards music's always gonna get him in the mood.
Yeah, he's going to try and find the good in everything. But Wayne Rooney just said exactly what 95% of the viewing public would have said.
I like all those
exactly
artists,
what
but
it
I
was.
thought it was crap.
Yeah,
Thank you.
like, my
It's
favourite
wild
part
that
was
Wayne Rooney has become the voice of reason.
yeah, which is insane. I
But
think
you know,
it's nice because he realizes I can say within reason can say what I like because I don't need. I'm the star boy of the BBC. They're not going to get rid of me for pandering the halftime
it
show.
sounded like he was being told off for saying that.
Well, yeah. The reaction from Gabby and Joe Hart and everyone else was like, "Whoa, well, you're miserable." Like, no, he's right. It's like that was not worth a 25-minute half time, which
27.
well, yes, 27, 17 seconds, wasn't it? Yeah, to the official time between whistle and whistle. It's just so annoying for the players who have been brought up for half times to be their opportunity to, okay, 15 minutes, get a breather, get the water in. Manager's
You
going to
say
give you
brought up
tactics.
like that's the rule. It's
Yeah,
a rule. It's not like a tradition. Like
no,
that's how
yeah.
you're supposed to play the game.
And it's written in FIFA's rules themselves. They have a maximum time limit for half time, and we found out,
Yeah,
2 weeks
and
before
then
the final. Oh, they're
once
just
you
going to ignore that. Lovely.
once you like nearly double that, that becomes like a safety concern
Yeah, exactly.
because the players cool down too much.
Mhm.
Um, it's basically worth them warming up again.
Exactly, yeah. There's a reason they do it for the weather breaks that we've had during this tournament, that they need to come out and have a warm up again because you can't just go straight back into full intensity football. And
Yeah.
25-minute break, yeah, you're not going to have that at any level of sport for any sort of break. Even in a training session, you're not going to take 25 minutes between two high intensity levels of activity. So it is just the amount that Infantino has just given away to Donald Trump and whoever else on the American standpoint who have pushed for these things to be brought in for the sake of the game of football.
Yeah, that's the other thing I can't get my head around. Like, it's not for Donald Trump because he don't give a damn about the football.
No, but he does give a damn about showcasing what America can be in offers and
He wants
shows.
ratings and
Exactly, yeah. He wants
stuff
the
like
money
that.
and everything else.
But
Like the halftime show,
I
the
can't
sponsors
get.
that would have paid for the halftime show in itself
Yeah.
is what they would have wanted and everything else. So he is the overarching thing on all of that. And yeah, it was so annoying. And then I'll have to say the thing the BBC showed after the halftime show, what on earth are they doing? It's like showing their advert for their broadcasting corporation during a halftime of a World
You
Cup.
got an issue with that?
Yeah, they gave 2 minutes of analysis before the halftime show started, and then they dedicated 3.5 minutes to their own company. It's like, no, just analyse the football. There's so much that happened in that first half in terms of fouls and everything else. You got 3 pundits there that you're paying to talk about it. It's like, no, you're going to give me an advert of Ramesh
Yeah,
Vandermeer
I mean,
telling me
this-
to pay my BBC license. No, go away. Do that full time or any time else where the football isn't still inactive.
You need as many eyes on that as you can, though. The BBC is dying.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm taking issue with it. Do it at a point where people aren't going to be annoyed about it. It's like no one's going to pay attention to your message at half time in a World Cup final. It's like, what's the point?
I was kind of. I feel stupid for thinking it might happen, but I was annoyed that it wasn't a case of they'll do the analysis while they just show the pictures.
Oh no,
what's going on.
it'd been on scene had announced they were going to show it in full, both BBC and ITV.
Yeah, but they could have just had it on in the background kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but it was well. I mean, we were hoping it was going to happen at the early stage of the tournament. It was sort of hinted by the FA that they weren't going to show it, but yeah, it was. I assume there was enough money thrown at all the broadcasters that you're going to show this, and they're not going to turn that down, are they? No matter what their standards are and what their standpoints are on it and everything else. But yeah, that was what it was, and obviously the fact that the game actually kicked off 6 minutes late as well is another thing too. After their ridiculous opening ceremony with Tom Cruise trying to, I saw someone online use the term yanksplain football to people. It's like, what on earth? Who is that for? I did enjoy Michael Buffer and Bruce Buffer because they always wheel them out for their big sporting events because it's that's at least a sporting thing.
I couldn't even hear what you were saying.
Well, if that was for the crowd that are in the stadiums, but at least that's a sporting link, whereas everything else beforehand wasn't.
And then Leandro Paredes took that too literally and just had an actual
yeah. Let's get ready for
boxing
that
match.
Oh right, yeah, I'm going to start fighting, but yeah, there was all that, and then
that doesn't work for me. That even in a boxing context, I feel like is just Yes, we know they're coming out. They're gonna fight each other. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, they've got a nickname. Oh, that's how much he weighs. Oh, I don't really care.
Oh yes.
Just get on with it.
I mean, that's quite an important thing in boxing. So I wouldn't just make a start
Yeah,
with
but
boxing analysis. No, that's it's not go down
I
that
mean,
road.
boxing is a stupid sport anyway.
Right, yeah. I'm not making enemies aware of that. I don't care enough to do that. But yeah, but we can
How
move on
is?
to the trophy ceremony afterwards because there's all that too, which again we knew was going to be the case, and everything else. You had Borja Iglesias saying beforehand, "Oh, if we win the game, I'm gonna not. I want to shake Donald Trump's hand and get away from him as quickly as possible," which is exactly what he did. I mean, we saw
I
Romero.
think he did his best not to touch him at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yamal tried to ignore him and didn't quite get the opportunity to, which is a shame. So they did have to shake his hand.
I think Christian Romero somehow managed to evade him. I can't remember how he did it.
Oh, yeah, he took his medal from Infantino. I think the Argentines in front of him were. Trump was trying to slow them all down, and they were trying to.
Oh
Get
yeah, so I think what he did was, I don't know if he meant to do it. He's probably not
yeah.
that clever,
No,
but
not quite.
he sort of went. So he was meant to get his medal from Infantino, goes past Infantino, and then goes, "Oh, sorry,"
Sorry, yeah. Takes
and
the
then
medal.
because he held up the line, he
He was
gets
able
to
yeah,
move
yeah.
along swiftly.
But yeah, so all of that happened, and then when Trump comes over to give the trophy, it was so clear that half the Spanish team really did not want him there, and half of them annoyingly pandered to him. And Mikel Merino did his dance in front of him. It's like, what on earth are you doing, Mikel? I thought you were better than that. It's
No,
like,
no, I think you've taken that the wrong way. I think he's taking the piss.
I don't know. Really don't know because he's looking him in the eye and like, oh yeah, yeah, Donald Trump, rather than
No, I
mocking
think
him.
he's like, hey, fuck off, you.
Oh,
I think he's doing
I
that.
think you're being a bit too Arsenal blinkered there. I
No,
don't know.
I think that. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I've
I
seen
think
enough. I've
you.
seen a few Spanish Twitter accounts blast him for doing that. So whether that is his intention or
I.
not, then
Who
whereas
cares?
Rodri is
I
like,
hate how he wouldn't get out of the way. He
well,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
be
I
front
mean,
and center of
I
that.
know Munoz looking directly at him, was like, please go away. And Zubamendi as well is giving him the death stare as he stood there.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah,
And Rodri does the right thing. He's like, I'm not going to lift it until he's at least not in front of any of the players, which he does. I know
yeah.
he's still like right
And
on the
then
side.
luckily he waits long enough for Infantino to scurry across
Well,
everybody.
Infantino is like he tries to stop Trump at first from going across the players, fails unsurprisingly. Then tries to drag him away, fails unsurprisingly. Then goes in again, and it's just the perfect final image of this World Cup of Infantino failing to babysit this overlord that he's given far too much say
Yeah, yeah.
into with, and it's just like, what did you expect, Gianni? You have babied this man child for over 2 years now and given him far too much privilege that he's not going to listen to you when you tell him to get out of the way. And I've said it so many times how much I hate Donald Trump, so I'm going to try not to lose my head on this. But the fact that after the trophy lift was done as well, there's so many images of those two just being left stood there with the Spanish players completely ignoring them after that. They don't give them any sort of, like, they've done the sort of thing they're expected to do when they've been
Yeah,
handed their
I
medals and
did
everything else.
like the kind of image where they're finally walking off the podium and it's like exit stage right. Like, yeah, piss off. Like, this
Get
is
out.
about Spain. Like, their moment. Let them have it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and the final thing on that as well, the fact you have the Mexican and the Canadian presidents stood there as well, and then they're not going to be part of the medal ceremony. It's like, great, there's another thing that you've just. Trump says he wants this. It's like, oh, we're just going to forget the other two hosted this tournament. Yeah, they're going to completely bypass them. Yeah, no, it's all about Trump and the USA. Yeah, no,
yeah, and that no person has interfered with that
no,
until this tournament.
yeah.
Can you imagine Hugo Lloris being given the World Cup by Vladimir Putin?
Well, yeah, I saw a clip resurface from that trophy lift the other day, and Putin is just doing what he's expected to do and being a sideshow. He's stood right to the far side with all the other delegates, with I think it's Francois Hollande, who would have been the French president at the
No,
time.
it's Macron. It was definitely Macron.
Yeah,
He gives the trophy a kiss, I think.
yeah, he does. So does the Croatian, whoever what the name is for their leader.
Oh, and
as
they were
well.
in full, well, not full kit.
Yeah, she had a Croatian, shirt on.
Yeah.
And none of them got as involved as Trump did, which, again, I think this final image is going to be another thing that's going to be thrown back by, at least from the UEFA side of people who are part of FIFA when he's tried to get re-elected, because he has completely embarrassed the corporation during this tournament, and hopefully there are
Well,
enough.
not him alone, but yeah.
No, but he is the leader. Yeah, he has enabled it to be embarrassed and everything else that comes with that. So, but yeah, I think that's everything I've got to say on the final, unless I've completely forgotten anything else that you wanted to bring up.
No, I don't think so. I'm just completely exhausted.
Yeah.
By that. But so I think it's time that we have a nice look back at the tournament and go over everything that we hated about it, in the form of like awards, I guess. Yeah. Even though this is what I said is what we wouldn't do last week, but here we are. This is what we're doing.
It's gotta be done.
It's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's. I reckon we'll start light-hearted and then we'll go downhill from there. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
So what was your favorite goal of the tournament?
Okay, so I will caveat the start of this. I've got a lot of these. I've got like loads of names on, which I will just brush over, make sure I don't go into too much depth, so we're not here all day. But this one I've kept it to two. One is my definite winner, but one honourable mention. The honourable mention, I've gone for Jude Bellingham v France in the third place playoff for the sixth goal. Watkins does really well to hold it up, and Bellingham just takes it from the halfway line, makes a fool out of Maxence Lacroix, and takes slightly too long to finish it for my liking in terms of just wanting the game to be killed off. But it does just shows how good he is and what we were missing in the semi-final. So that's my honourable mention. But my outright winner, and comfortably, is Sydney Cabral v Argentina. Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
What you'd agree. Yeah. Moment, finish, everything else, just
Yeah, I think that was from memory. That was the one goal where I actually like close to a scream.
Oh yeah.
In a game that I should not have cared about.
Yeah, involuntary noise. It exited my body as well. Even though it was very late at night, but yeah, incredible goal.
Yeah, great moment. Most iconic moment of the tournament.
I'm afraid this is my longest list, and I don't have it. Well, I do have one definitive winner for it, but I will lift off everything I've got. So,
but we haven't shared any of these, by the way. We are going in blind with this.
So you've got Bob the Cat, Lamine Yamal's brother, all the full-time scenes from England v Mexico, including Kane's interview, Wonderwall, Jordan Henderson breaking his arm, all the punditry from Joe Hart, Michael Richards, and Wayne Rooney, all of that, unbelievably good stuff. The Japanese fan on Fox News right at the start of the tournament.
Good one.
Unbelievable. The referee handing the red card to Miguel Almiron for covering his mouth. Again, brilliant. And on the football pitch, I've got Paraguay beating Germany on penalties, because that, I think, is the only real upset from this tournament in the knockout stages, which is insane. But my winner, I think it's a culmination of all her moments and the amount of people she wound up. It's Emma Hayes and her signing off with her final bit of hydration break analysis with basically a middle finger to all the misogynistic men out there. Just wonderful stuff.
Yeah, deserved winner for sure. Yeah, if we take iconic literally, I think she has been an icon in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Although my pick was Miguel Almiron's red card.
Nice,
because the delivery,
mm-hmm.
the just the ferocity of the ruling. It's just superb.
It's always clear to see when moments like that stand a bit of time, when it's still being quite popularly mentioned, even though they've been about 7 games after it was still being brought up over and over again, because it was just so brilliantly done. It was worthy winner. I'll give you that.
Yeah. What else have we got? I've got what have we got here? A what the fuck moment?
Yeah, this one it was relatively similar to one of the other things, but I think I did eventually get there in terms of mixture of taking what we were going to mean by it. Like a fun one was like Javier Aguirre's Anthony Gordon moment. I mean, that sort of fits into that category because it's quite strange, but also really funny. And once we got the added context as well, with him talking to Jude Bellingham beforehand was, yeah, pretty good. But then the sort of less fun examples I've got is the Balogun red card being overturned, and well, not overturned, but him being allowed to play, even though the red card still stood. The treatment of Iran by the USA, and the Somalian referee being not allowed to do his job and enter the country. And then anything on top of that with Senegalese fans, everything else. Like, what the fuck in terms of what the fuck, why are we allowing the USA to do things that every other nation would not be allowed to do by FIFA?
Uh-huh. Okay, I see you've taken these in slightly different ways.
Which is a good thing, I think.
Which is very on brand for us, I feel.
Hopefully cover more ground.
Yeah. But my one was, well, as football-based as I could make it. Mm-hmm. And I've gone for the Croatia equaliser that was ruled out.
Ah, okay.
In the round of 32 by the touch of a hair. Thanks to Snicko. And I just thought like that, because it could have been a great end to the. I mean, it was a great end to the game.
Yeah.
But it could have been, oh yeah, we're going to penalties, and Ronaldo's going to be upset. And, and that kind of stuff, and just to be knocked out like that is just ridiculous. And as lawfully correct as it was just complete madness.
I think that falls under that category quite nicely. So yeah, that's a good one to bring in. Big fan.
I've got most shameless moment.
Yeah, this one was a slight struggle, but I think I have got there in the end with two examples where they probably do fit in. And I think one we talked about to death over the last week is Valentin Barco and his celebrations and his actions. I think that sort of where is your shame type sort of way I've taken that with that. And the other one is recency bias, but it happened. There's anything Donald Trump did yesterday on the trophy stage, because shamelessly just still making it about him, even though it's very clear that Rodri does not want you stood there when he's lifting the trophy. So those are the two I've got.
I've also gone down the line of the American presidency / organization, and just their whole thing about suspending Balogun's suspension. But then them also saying that, Keir Starmer overstepped when he wanted to keep the kickoff time for the Mexico game. Just completely saying, well, you can't do that, but we can overturn our team's red cards and no one else's.
Yeah, I mean, I can add to that as well with the shamelessness of Trump saying he knows everything about football, blah, 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 just anything he said in that press conference about Balogun, and he'd phoned up Infantino himself. The only nice silver lining from that is that he's completely embarrassed Infantino by doing that. So hopefully that's another thing that's another nail in his coffin.
Cringiest moment?
Yeah, this one again was not tough, but I think I've sort of split the shameless and cringe and WTF sort of apart. But the biggest one, for the winner for this for me, is any Infantino press conference that he gave before or during the tournament, where he's completely ignoring the questions on hydration breaks and saying no, this is for this, not for the adverts, or the press conference he had where he wasn't answering any questions. He was just there to make his statements without any criticism whatsoever. Just, it's cringy because he is a very cringeworthy man. So I'll put that in there. Then my other ones, I've actually got some footballing ones for this one, but for different meanings. I've obviously mentioned Marino's dance earlier. I did cringe a little bit, even if he has meant it in jest. That's a little bit great. Get Trump out of the way. Don't pander to him. And my two footballing ones were cringe very much in a different way, is Kone's injury for Canada.
Oh, yeah.
You're not reminded of that this morning. That happened during the tournament.
I've winced just remembering that.
That's lovely. You've done that.
Because they proper zoomed in on it, didn't they?
To go full went their usual thing that you would do in broadcasting and not show it again, and they had very much showed it again. And my other one is Cristiano Ronaldo's performances against Spain and Croatia. Just that could fit in shameless as well. Just being Martinez's decision to leave him on the pitch, even though he was doing nothing.
Or him battering Uzbekistan, going, "I'm back."
Yeah, I did mean to write that down for shameless moment too. 'Cause, yeah, it did fit even more after the fact where he didn't do anything after that game against a tougher opponent. So yeah, just he needed a mention because yeah, it was just ridiculously cringe and shameless altogether.
Nice, nice. I picked something that I think I mentioned in the last one. The Argentinian players' attitudes to Lionel Messi,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
they're in some sort of cult. Um,
Yeah.
where, oh, we got to win the World Cup for Lionel Messi. Oh, I hope we get another World Cup for him. Oh, he worked so hard. Oh, oh.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
All
just
of
ran
that.
out of
Yeah.
words.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that still winds me up. I
Mm.
was like, "Ugh,
Another wonderful
stop
reason for them to
it,
lose.
and
Yeah.
hopefully they will stop it. Hopefully
Well,
I think he will come back.
he might have one more Copper America in him. Never
Nah,
know.
I think they'll shoehorn him in.
Yeah, yeah. I know you've said already that you think there's a chance, but I think there's no way Ronaldo or Messi will be playing in the next World Cup in 4 years' time. That's 43 year
He'll
old.
only be 43.
Yeah, yeah. That's normal. Outfield players.
I don't know who's behind him in the right winger rankings in Argentina.
Oh, well, it might be
Um,
their president, maybe.
ha ha.
Yeah.
That's that's really funny.
Thank you.
Yeah. um. Right. What else we got? What else we got? Um. Most tedious debate.
Yeah, this one I had to really rack my brains because obviously if they're the tedious debates are ones I try and completely forget about. But I think hydration breaks falls into that category because it was just something that it was worth talking about every time it was worth talking about, but nothing new could be added to it during
It was just
for
like
me.
universally hated,
Exactly, yeah. It's
so
like, they're not going to
we
change
don't need to
with
keep moaning about
veterans.
it.
You can
Yeah.
try and make a point every single time, but they're just going to be there. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. And then the other one I've got down is from the England Norway game, the Spider Cam debate.
Yeah, yeah, that's
There was
fair.
never any definitive evidence either way, but people were still trying to make it a point in either direction. It's like, come on, it
Yeah, yeah.
didn't make any difference to the goal, so let's just stop talking about it and move on. In my opinion, anyway. So yeah, that one I think was the last minute Hail Mary to remember.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. My one is the crying about the head-to-head tiebreakers being used in the groups.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, I've slightly been swayed in this because I got into a few. I wouldn't call them fights on Twitter, but um, yeah, I got a few conversations on Twitter where I was like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like people debating on Twitter, including respected journalists who I
Mm.
won't name
Yeah.
um, for their sake more than anything. Just like, why can't we even have a debate about it? Like the journalist I had a bit of a to and fro with on this. Um, basically went, "Oh, USA v Turkey should be a big game." I was like, "Well, Turkey like crap, and they're out anyway,
Mm.
so that doesn't work." And then he responded with, "Yeah, but this is more than just those teams." I'm like, "Well, why did you put those teams in as an example? It doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Like, how's that an argument?"
I guess
Uh,
something that fits similarly to me for that is the debate of the expansion of the tournament and everything else because I had a to and
yeah,
fro.
every time that came up, that was just in bad faith.
Mm.
Every single time.
Yeah, I had it with a different journalist during the Cape Verde, but during both of their knockout games. It's like, oh, this is a good advert for the expansion of the tournament, and the standard reply was that Cape Verde would have qualified for the knockouts anyway. And his to and fro is like, well, I'm not using just them as examples, but you've mentioned it during the extra time of a Cape Verde game, so that's obviously what's inspired you to make this point, which is yeah on the same level of what you're talking about with your one too. It's like, come on, let's have a bit of nuance in your thinking.
Journalists, huh?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would be one of those?
Okay, here we go. The big ones. Um, let's go with worst pundit.
Nah, this was annoyingly, it shouldn't have been as easy as it was in the sense of I
Yeah,
put a name down and then looked up everyone else who did punditry during this tournament to see if I was forgetting anyone. And I don't think anyone annoyingly came close. to this in terms of expectation and actual delivery. And I think you're going to agree with my reaction. It's your friend of mine, Olivier Giroud.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I can give him benefits of the doubt in terms of it being his second language and his first time in punditry on an English channel and things like that. But there were others during the tournament who fell into that bracket too and did a much better job. It was his lack of enthusiasm and delivery didn't help him, and the points he was making a lot of the time weren't
He
adding
just
anything
didn't
to the debate.
say anything.
Yeah, yeah. He had at least he had one highlight moment of highlighting the Belgian manager getting sprayed by
But again, that's just observational. Like
yeah.
he is wet. Like that's not punditry.
It's what he's wearing. He's got suit and tie. He's all that. Yeah. They're like, yeah, great. It was good to live. Well done to Shuri. But yeah, no, it was a shame because I did when he was announced. I did think I didn't know if he would
I
be
mean, because
anything.
you assume if he's been good enough to be named part of the team, he's got something
he's
about
an
him.
active footballer as well. I mean, that was the reason he had to go back into pre-season training once the knockout stages started, so we didn't see him again. But it was made even worse when the people who came in to replace him were a lot better, like Thomas Hitzelsberger, Cesar Azpilicueta,
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah, they were.
I saw a weirdly this morning. I saw a ranking of like all the pundits.
Oh yeah, I think it was 4-4-2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they got Olivier Giroud in last, and they picked they got number one right as well, which was Emma Hayes.
No, yeah, of course.
Which I agree with. I thought they were a bit harsh on some people. Like Cesar Azpilicueta was way low down.
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
like
like fourth bottom, wasn't he? Like, no,
was like,
what are you talking about?
sure about that.
Better than that, yeah.
But yeah, I thought Giroud stood out in a bad way, sadly.
100%. Yeah,
But,
yeah, a shame.
this one might be fun. Worst commentator.
Yeah, again, I'll be amazed if we're not agreeing on this. But I did the same thing I did with the pundits and went through all sort of the co-coms who are on various things. And to be fair, for some of them, I didn't listen to them do full games or didn't hear them at all, so I couldn't really include them with any sort of real analysis. And obviously, that's more from the BBC standpoint. The ITV standpoint, they only really had sort of 4 or 5 they only had 4 main commentators and I think 6 co-commentators that they used during the tournament. And I will say most of them did a very good job, apart from the 2 obvious standouts who I'm going to mention. But yeah, there was no one on the BBC who as I said, there were some who did sort of bad jobs in terms of like what the games they were given. They didn't really give anything to it, but I can't really sort of justify naming any of them specifically because I couldn't think of any specific examples. But I've done a co-com and a main com, and it's going to be probably the same for most people who've watched it on BBC TV or on ITV this tournament, and it's Lee Dixon and Sam Matface, without a shadow of a doubt.
It's just he's not growing into the role of
no
lead commentator.
If anything,
look, I'm sure he's some people's cup of tea.
No, yeah, you'd hope so for him to have the role, yeah. But the fact that he's being exposed more and more to more people as more tournaments go on.
If it wasn't already obvious that he was writing down pre-planned lines, which you can tell just anyway, but then even see it in the flesh, thanks to his employer, no less, just makes that worse. And just some of the stuff he just comes out with anyway. I still can't get over there are 4 Champions League finals between now and the next World Cup. Like, I still don't get that. That's probably the weirdest line I've heard.
Yeah, the same way to measure time.
Like, why have you said that?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I know we've highlighted during this tournament, Lee Dixon did have some redeeming moments in like the Cape Verde Spain draw.
He like his human emotions came through.
Yeah, they came back again after they'd been taken away from him for the last 3 to 5 years that they've been ITV commentators together. But yeah, there's a reason. There are other reasons why people don't tune into ITV for the final when it's available on BBC, and I think those who maybe did in the hope that it was going to be Seb Hutchinson or John Champion leading the commentary for the final, whereas they should have known better, as Sam Matface has the lead role. He's paid more than the other 2 to do this job, so I think those who did tune in would have quickly turned over to the BBC. I don't, not that I have any sound bites
Yeah.
from their commentary yesterday, but it's just the fact that it's the level they're at in terms of how ITV wheel them out to the delivery that they give. It's such a chasm compared to anyone else who
Yeah.
did these roles during the tournament.
And you know, there's nothing that there's not a world where they couldn't have had Clive Tilsley still.
Nah, exactly.
But they just decided to make do with that.
Yeah, get rid of him while he was. It wasn't to a Martin Tyler level where his standards were clearly slipping. It's just, he's getting old. We're going to get rid of him. Like,
I would like an honourable mention here to another sort of old favourite of ours.
I was going to mention him if we didn't. Yeah,
which is Darren Fletcher.
Yeah.
That commentary on that Ronaldo goal is absolutely diabolical.
Yeah.
There's I can't remember what game it is. Oh no, it would have been third place playoff. He came out with a doozy of a line as well. That I spotted online, where he was talking about Jude Bellingham. Obviously, he's talking to an American audience here, which is what makes it bad. And he said, for those who don't know, he used to play for a team called Birmingham City. Like, okay.
Wonderful. Cheers.
Like just reading that made me cringe so bad. Like, oh,
It's the dumbing down, which is, I know for a fact, is so unnecessary for a huge audience of the United States people who watch football. Like, a lot of them know a hell of a lot about football and have been watching it for over 20, 30 years.
But like, even if you don't know that, you don't want to be told like that.
No, yeah, you don't want to be treated like a child, even though that's sort of how they're maybe
because if you don't know, if you've never heard of Birmingham City, you wouldn't give a toss about what the team is called.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, of course you wouldn't. Yeah,
it's just and also it's not a cool piece of information either.
No, not at all. It's like it's not
okay.
going to.
For those who don't know, he plays for one of the worst teams in the Championship. But that might be a bit harsh.
I mean, if he followed that on and said, "Oh, it owned by Tom Brady," then there's a thing you can say right there that the audience would actually care about. But it doesn't sound like he's done that. So, yeah, ridiculous.
So yeah, he had to get an honourable mention there.
Yeah, please.
What was the biggest error made in the tournament?
Yeah, I was annoyed by how I struggled with this because I thought there should be hundreds, and annoyingly, I haven't got the notes that you have, Will, to the extent of your Twitter.
Oh, I've done loads from the broadcasting side of things for sure, and the media side.
I'm really annoyed by the lack of things I've got down here.
But it could I don't know, it could have been a tactical error, or it could have been a
fair point. I didn't even think of looking at it like that. All of mine are from pundits or commentators, and one of them is just because it happened yesterday that I was able to write it down.
Oh God, I think I know what you're going to say.
Yep, it is exactly what you're thinking. I will start with that because poor Guy Mowbray. Like, we've had it all tournament where the directors who are in charge of the camera shots have lingered on celebrities far too long, and 50% of the time, well, some of the time it's hard to tell who that even is, even if it is a known name. They're so well covered up with their hat and sunglasses,
or their name is actually behind them.
Yeah.
On the
seats. There's others where the commentators obviously ignored them. Others where they clearly don't know who it is and not even going to try. But yesterday, Guy Mowbray sadly tried to be clever, and not only did he get the name of the person he thought he was wrong, because he thought this person was ASAP Rocky, he firstly called them AKA Rocky, which is
AKA Rocky, AKA ASAP Rocky, AKA Pharrell Williams, which he did not correct at all. And to be fair, he did like cry for help.
Yeah, he did.
He was like, nobody's telling me.
Doesn't know either. Yeah, that's what the producers should have been there for. I think I've said it at least a couple of times when we've done these pods during the tournaments. Like, if they knew that the camera operators were going to do this, or at least learned it from the first few games, they are going to keep showing these celebrities, you should at least have
I did see going around Twitter, there was like a celebrity guest list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like all like the celebrity people I assume just in the celebrity seats there was a whole list of people there. ASAP Rocky was not on that list.
See, that's a
Unless
problem.
he'd gone down with his real name. I'm not
See,
sure
I think
what
that
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 is.
will be the issue there with those who aren't in like the invited list. They're just there because they've got the money to pay for the boxes themselves, and the cameras have found them. But then again, that should be have someone, a producer behind the scenes, should be there ready for that sort of thing. If their commentator is going to take the risk that Guy Mowbray has made there
Yeah.
and get the person completely wrong. So yeah, that's bad, especially to do in a World Cup final. And there were probably quite a few of those during the tournament that I just have forgotten about. I
Yeah.
mean, there were when Casey Keller was on the screen, and they had a much more famous female footballer sat in front that just got completely ignored by Danny Murphy.
Justice for Alex Morgan.
No, that's who it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So there's lots of things like that I could have brought up, but I haven't written down. The other one I've got written down again is quite recent because it happened either this week or last week, and happened on the Netflix show The Rest Is Football, which I don't know if you've seen this or not, but Karel Prince has done
Probably
his
not.
job in HMRCing him quite heavily, and it's a man who has gained a reputation for being a bit silly with this sort of thing, and that's John Obi Mikel. Are you
Okay,
familiar with
go
this
on,
guy?
go on.
Okay. Yeah, so he was on The Rest is Football last week with Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer, and he told a story about Alan Shearer being one of the dirtiest forwards he's played against, where he's stood on his toes and Mikel's not catching up to him, and Frank Lampard's telling him, why are you not fouling him there? And
I
he's
can
like,
see where this is going.
he's standing on my toes, mate, everything else, as he would say. And immediately after the broadcast, someone did digging. John Obi Mikel joined Chelsea in August of 2006.
Oh,
Alan
man.
Shearer retired from football in May of 2006. They never shared a football pitch at all. And they had John Obi Mikel on after this happened, and they asked him about it, called him out. And I think they've worked it out that he either thought Nicky Butt was Alan Shearer because of their similar hairstyles at the time of the receding hair. And the other example they gave was photos of the player standing on his toes, and they've given the example he was, and it was Sibierski. So another bald Newcastle player who he's clearly thought is Alan Shearer, and he's just completely either misremembered it or tried to tell the story to be funny to Alan, to his face no less, to try making up.
You don't. It's not like he was on the pitch, but he didn't realise it was Nicky Butt. Like that's.
It's a common trend we've learned in the last year, where once Karel Prince started doing his job, that footballers are quite bad at this sort of thing of either misremembering or just telling stories because they sound entertaining, even though they're not slightly true. So it's not a big error in terms of World Cup broadcasting, but it was on the World Cup show on Netflix, so I thought it was well worth a mention.
It's a good shout and needed to be called out. I'm glad they got him back.
Yeah. They did it on the BBC pod as well. Wayne Rooney and Danny Murphy spoke about it too, because it was just ridiculous how wrong you could get that sort of thing.
My biggest error is slightly more grand in that I've just gone for USA hosting the tournament.
No, yeah, that's a nice way of looking at that category. I'm a fan.
Because they've not ruined it.
No,
but it could have been so much better.
I think the sort of fallout from it is going to be the yardstick of how much of an effect this has had on the game of football. Like looking at how
I hope that it's a
future.
case of, okay, that was clearly a bad idea. We're not going to do that again.
Yeah,
rather than this is the norm now.
Yeah. Oh, people are just going to have to accept
it. I'm not worried about hydration breaks. I just don't see that happening. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I certainly don't think there's going to be any sort of halftime show at Euro 28.
Well, UEFA are certainly not going to do that. They'll do their standard opening show, which
I'm
is
sure there'll be an opening ceremony for a final. That's very normal because that doesn't impact the game.
No, and I'm speaking without knowing the facts here, but I don't think they've ever delayed kickoff by 6 minutes because of that sort of thing either. Before
no, I think the key thing is to do it before kickoff.
Yeah, rather than
way before kickoff,
making it overrun as they have done in the last two tournaments they've hosted it at the MetLife. As the World Cup final last season kicked off a good 11 minutes late, which is
well, that correct me if I'm wrong, but was that also exacerbated by players walking out one by one?
Yeah, there was. I'm glad they did away with that before this tournament because it was rumoured beforehand they were going to do that again in
Yeah.
this one, and I'm glad they didn't. I mean, they did announce every single player as they were walking up to get the trophy yesterday, and did announce yellow cards over the channel,
Oh,
which was
can we talk about that? That is just, what is that for?
yeah.
What is
I'd get
that
it. I'd
for?
get it if it was Anfield or Old Trafford where they don't have a screen, so you can clarify who it is being yellow carded. But it's clearly not for that reason.
But
It's
it's also
for
the way they say it.
yeah.
It's like yellow card for Argentina, Lisandro Martinez, number 6, and then they'll go Lisandro Martinez, Argentina. Like again, like you just said
Yeah.
who it was.
Yeah, there was a lot of Americanization of the words used for those sort of things as well. Like
And also when they do the half-time score and they say 0.
0, yeah, that's the
Like,
point I was going to make. Yeah, come on. If you
Stop it.
embrace football and use nil like the rest of us, especially if it's in the English language, like for goodness sake, yeah. So it's all little things like that, which was annoying and whatever else. And there's so many other things we can say about this, but we will go on forever with the
political interference.
Yeah, exactly. And
Which is grounds for like being kicked out of the tournament.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like when FIFA's doing it with you, like,
Yeah,
it's not going to
yeah.
happen, is it?
So many of their own rules that they bent during this. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, sort of how this falls for FIFA sort of related tournaments over the next couple of years or so, and how it will play
Nice.
into to everything else going on. But yeah,
I can't wait.
it's a shame I've brought them up a few times, but the American people who are very embracing of football in terms of wanting it to stay the tradition of how it's done over the rest of the world compared to it, and how welcoming they've been to some of the nations who have been staying in their local towns. And as we said last week, it's just good people are everywhere in the world. It's just we aren't reminded of it often enough. So for those people, I was glad they have their moments, even though obviously a lot of them would have been priced out of going to these games anyway. So can't quite bring that in. There's another all the pricings, everything else. I don't know if you saw the clip yesterday of some Argentinians took the risk yesterday to walk to the MetLife and walked across the freeway perfectly fine, because it's all either single or double lanes. There is no 6-lane highway for them to cross. You can just go across the main roads that are only double lanes, which of course is very dangerous, but they proved that to those who said, what on earth are these Europeans and these South Americans thinking that they could walk to the MetLife Stadium? It's like, well, clearly you can. Clearly you can. So yeah, it's sadly been the overarching theme of this World Cup that those who are in charge of the American sports and FIFA have bent to their whim far too often, and I'm intrigued if there's going to be any consequence of it whatsoever.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. I'm sure that the World Cup within 6 countries next time will clearly not have similar issues.
No, not at all.
It'll be fine. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Have you got an unsung hero?
I do not. I think this is not in the list you sent me, I will admit. I'll have to think it's on my head.
Well, there's only one winner for me, and it's Anthony Barry.
Yeah, very nice.
Just someone I wasn't expecting to even take a liking to during the tournament, and he seemed to strike the right tone every single time, and he annoyingly got stick for his interview on Saturday.
Yeah. Sadly, with English football, you've got every type of man watching the game, and those who are told that showing emotion is a weakness, and everything else, they reacted exactly how you would expect to it in terms of, oh, no wonder we lost because we've got emotional men in the coaching staff. Like, no, that's just quite normal. He's proud of his players.
Which, by the way, is a very emotional reaction to something that doesn't warrant one.
Exactly.
So
yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, big up Anthony Barry.
Yeah.
And just a last one for a bit of fun. Do you have a biggest hate watch?
I mean, there's a fair few that were unsuccessful in there that I could list off. Like any time a big team won a game, or Portugal beating Croatia was probably the worst in terms of outcome, but enjoyable in terms of the entertainment of the game.
That's still game of the tournament for me.
Or yeah,
Argentina, Cape Verde was up there.
yeah, I was gonna say that's
But
definitely.
I really enjoyed Portugal, Croatia. That could have gone on for 3, 4 hours. It would have been
Yeah,
great.
yeah, 100%. And then you can include Argentina against Egypt in there in terms of the comeback that no one really wanted to see. No, that's another
Yeah.
failed in terms of that. But I think
Uh,
my winner in terms of having the outcome is Paraguay, Germany for at least having one big name team being knocked out by surprise from a team who offered
yeah.
nothing in the group
Like you
stage.
say, probably the only big shock.
Yeah, in the
That's
knockout.
that's the other bad thing, how they fixed the top four
Yeah, the
getting
seeding,
into.
even though Argentina made it as close as they possibly could to try to be knocked out before they got to the final
Yeah,
four, and obviously we didn't have smooth sailing through
because what it also
knockouts.
does is it robs another team's chance of going far by the draw opening up,
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
and
Like, you're not going to get a Croatia or Morocco going all the way to the semi-finals as Croatia did in the last two tournaments, let alone just one of them with
yeah.
like Morocco.
But then if the draw goes another way and you get France Argentina in a round of 16,
Mm,
then suddenly Morocco can start plotting a path to the final,
exactly. Yeah.
and then
Mm,
that's the kind of thing that
yeah. It
we
has
kind
been.
of robbed of,
Yeah.
even though like you
Remove that.
say,
Yes, remove that opportunity, which is
yeah.
a shame.
Um, but
Anyway,
yeah, for me the biggest hate watch was the final itself.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think in terms of like the sort of like the anger behind it.
Mhm.
Like we said at the start, not really because they beat us at all, but just because them as a football team just did not deserve to win
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Mm.
and justice prevailed. Thankfully.
I will say as well for something that I feel is worth a mention. England played Argentina at rugby last night before the
Oh
final,
yeah,
and the end of that game showed it's not just an Argentinian football thing of being sore losers and complaining to the referee. The Argentinians went completely against any sort of decorum that you expect in rugby, and they had a not quite a dodgy decision at the end, but there was a video assistant
no,
decision.
I think they got that right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
I
did.
think I
Yeah.
think they got that right. But the thing is, I mean, I'm not a rugby expert, but
No.
I feel like winning when or sorry, losing when you got two extra players, um, that's just pathetic, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. No, it is. It's quite rare in rugby that that sort of thing happens. So, but yeah, the Argentinian rugby players reacted exactly the same as the Argentinian football players did. So I thought
Yeah,
it was worth a mention that it's clearly quite an inherent thing in that country rather than just the football.
yeah. Well, ha. That's what I'm gonna say.
Worth it. Yeah.
Um, don't know what else to do really. Are we done?
Oh, yeah, you had one.
Did
What final best post match interview? I think was the final one you had in there.
Oh, we'll do that one as well. I mean,
Yeah,
I kind of put that on there because I wanted to relive Harry Kane.
yeah. It's the obvious answer, isn't it? Just yeah, John.
I really enjoyed the BBC montage putting Bert in the montage. But I don't think it actually sounds like Bert, but
No.
just putting a cartoon character on Harry Kane's shoulders is
Yeah,
quite funny.
it did numbers the day after whoever made that on Twitter. Well, that's probably AI anyway, but yeah, it did numbers the morning after. So and then Joe Hart's reaction to it and Wayne Rooney calling it the best interview he's ever seen. So you can't not pick it. You can't pick anything else.
Yeah. But that's probably the moment that had us in stitches more than anything else. Um. Oh, is it over?
Yeah, I think the World Cup is 2026. I think that is it. I think there's
Well
nothing
then,
left to be said.
shall we just go?
We could. We might as well highlight what we're going to do over the next few weeks, if
What are we
anything.
going to do in the next few
Yeah, it's a
weeks?
great question. I think that'll be something we're going to have to work out between now and next
Oh, you
week.
don't know? I thought you were going to tell me.
I was going to say, if there is anything massive that happens between now and next week, I mean, we could come on here and talk
Well, I'll be
transfer news
following
and everything else.
Kairat's Champions League journey with
Yeah,
interest,
of course.
especially as I think they might be coming up against Omonia, Super
Yeah,
Champions.
yeah, and
But
there is some British interest in on Thursday where Hearts are playing Sturm Graz in the first of the Europa League qualifiers. So There is teams that are notable names are
Oh
starting
no,
again. Obviously pre-season.
football's back already.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Man United played a friendly against Wrexham at the weekend, so
They did do that.
the pre-season is well underway. But I will say with this, I think there is a chance we could be here next week, but no guarantees in terms of having enough content to make it worth it. So keep an eye out. If we'll let you know either way on the social medias if we are gonna put something out next week. But
I think we've earned a break.
yeah, I think that's probably the overarching feeling. Considering we did have done extra episodes during the last 5 weeks, I think we deserve a bit of a break from football, and I think people deserve a bit of a break from us as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
But also thank you for listening.
of course.
As always, and yeah, wherever you are, keep hate watching, and we'll see.
It's there if you want to find it. Yeah,
Yeah, and we are on YouTube. So
of course.
get on YouTube. That'd probably be my off-season task: to get everything we've ever done onto
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah. If you want to relive anything that's happened over the last 11 months that we've been doing this, and yeah, that should hopefully will be there at some point.
And until then, we'll see you next season.
I've got no World Cup statement to end on, so I will just say goodbye.